Hey everyone, hope you have a lovely day. Now, the topic of this video is not something that's commonly known for in the sim racing space, although in real life racing and also other sports, it's pretty much mapped out with science and experiments. And I can confirm this really works because as a coach in coaching sessions and group coaching sessions now with the Get Good Racing Academy, and by the way, if you missed last week, I just released the Academy, which has group coaching sessions, workshops, weekly exercises and drills, and honestly, it's a full package. Everything is recorded, so when a new member is joining, he can access everything that we've been done so far in the past, plus the future, of course. And the link is in the video description if you're interested into that. But anyways, getting back to the point, this is about vision, and you will see, like literally you will see, that this will make you a lot faster and it will completely change how you perceive the track. So without further ado, let's just get into the video. And we're going to start with two of these tips combined into a single one because we need both working at the same time to extract everything. So the first thing is called the quiet eye technique, which was studied in sports, and it's proven that if elite athletes fixate even milliseconds more on their objective, their accuracy will be much higher, or their rate of success. And this is especially true in basketball. You'll see players, they are trying to look at the rim as early as they can when they get the ball. So if they are shooting, those milliseconds earlier where they were just glazing the rim will basically give them more chances to make the shot. That's one of the things. And the second thing is the speed in which we transition from one objective to the other, or one target to the other. Both of them being able to look more at our target and being able to switch quickly between two targets will really help us, for us, sim racers. Let me show you an example. Here we have a corner to the right, and ideally I'd like to have my eyes on it at all times, as early as I can, and just fixate my view so that I'll be prepared. My brain will automatically adapt if I can look through this apex on the right side as much as we can. But the challenge is that we need to brake for this corner. So it's going to be impossible to keep my eyes 100% on it because right now we're looking for a braking point. And my braking point for this corner is right here, just when the light color on the wall is ending. So if we want to apply this and we be as efficient as we can with the vision to make sure that we save precious milliseconds that will translate to more lap time, I need to look at this point as early as I can. Just from the corner exit on the previous corner, I want to be fixating first on the braking point. Because as I get closer to it, I want to be able to predict where I'm going to brake just by judging the distance because I'm already locked into the braking point. So that then I can switch my vision quickly enough to the apex, because that's the thing that matters. That's the corner. The braking point is just the intermediary point. So when I'm applying the brakes like right now, I'm not looking here anymore. This is too late to be looking at the braking point. I'm braking, but all my vision and all my focus is right here. I'm trying to fixate my vision to the apex, even if I can't properly see it right now. I'm still looking at that point. So I was able to do this, and I was able to quickly switch the vision because I spend a lot more time looking at the braking point, and then even before arriving at my braking point, I'm predicting where I'm going to reach it based off the car of the speed. So when I'm pressing the brakes, I'm 100% looking at my apex, at least in this example. So the key takeaway of these 2 points is, first, make sure you are using your entries to spot your braking points early enough so that you can predict when to brake, and then be fast with the transition between your eyes being on the braking point and your eyes being at the apex. If you arrive with your vision even milliseconds earlier to the apex, the likelihood of you hitting it or having a better run through that corner will be much higher, just as athletes and sports players, they are having higher accuracy when they're able to just glance a little bit more the objective. And if you play it full speed, this is how it looks like. Now the next tip is to look through the corner, and this is a mistake that many beginner and intermediate drivers are doing. They're looking just in front of the car. So I'm going to give you an example and just show you and explain where I'm looking, specifically in the longer corners or tricky sections of a track where you really need to be fast enough with the vision, but also you need to be looking further ahead if you want to prepare this sequence of corners. So for example, right now I'm braking and I'm doing exactly what I told you about in the first two tips in order to maximize the time spent with my vision in the corner. So at this point, we only see the curb, we're looking at the curb, but as we get closer and closer and closer, more details start to appear, and your vision should be following the exit. You shouldn't be looking here in the mid part of the corner because you spend all the time up until this point focusing on that marker. So you can already predict where the car is going to go, and you can already predict where that point will be in space as you advance to it. So there's no sense in wasting time looking at the same marker that you'll be seeing all over again up until this point. So my eyes will be looking at the Firestone sign in front of the car on the exit. So yes, I want to take this curb like this, but now I'm looking more towards the exit. I'm trying to open up this radius by positioning the car in the center. And when I start to see more and more the curb, right now I'm not even looking in the middle of it because I've already spent time looking at it. I'm looking past the curb. I'm looking here on the exit on the left side. So at this point in time, this wall on the left side where the curb ends is where I'm looking. I'm looking at the wall, getting closer and closer and closer. I arrive now to this position where I was wanting to put the car in, and now all the vision is on the right side, on the Acura blue sign on the right. So I'm trying to take a very late apex. I'm turning around here, and I can see this wall from this angle, so there is nothing much more I can focus on. This is a very tight corner, but I'm still looking on the end part of the curb. I'm not looking here in front of the right tire in in the nose of the car. I'm not looking in the middle of the curb either. I'm looking towards this part right here where I'm positioning right now so that I can take a very late apex and slingshot on my way out. Now it's also worth mentioning the power of the peripheral vision. In some cases, it will save you a lot of time and you're going to be able to focus your vision a lot more on the objective if you're using your peripheral vision in the right way. So you will have instances, for example, like this corner, where your braking marker will be, surprisingly enough, easy to see with your peripheral vision rather with center vision. So for these cases, and by the way, that peripheral vision is a lot more adapted to see things better at high speeds. So when you're going into this corner, if we're applying the principle of trying to lock into the corner as long as we can already start looking at the corner from this angle, even if our braking point is at this black banner on the left. Because if we're looking here on the right side, we arrive to our braking point, which is the ending of this black. We will just see the black disappearing from our peripheral vision, even if we're looking 100% at this apex. So in this case, when the braking marker is very close to your peripheral vision and you will instantly tell that it's going off, then all of your focus should be on the corner itself. So you can maximize the time spent with your eyes in the corner. You will have better accuracy. So here, when that black starts to disappear, I'm applying the brakes and I'm taking a much better corner because I spent more time looking at it, because I used my peripheral vision to make my run through the corner more efficient. And let me give you one last example for now that will really feel like a magic trick in some cases, because it works really well to fix understeer, and it's all about vision. So if you have a problematic corner, you kind of miss it from time to time, and you have some space on the inside so that you won't hit the wall, because God forbid we don't want to crash. But what you can do is, for example, in this corner right here, the apex, as you can see, is on the ending of the curb, but you have a little bit of grass on the right side. So if you're missing it, if you're not hitting the curb because you miss it because of the understeer, what you can do in terms of putting a new target is to actually try to hit the grass. Because think about it, you're already understeering and not hitting the curb. If your target now is even more inside than the curb, the likelihood of you compensating for the understeer and actually hitting the right marker is quite high. So when you're not hitting a corner, you're not hitting your apex, of course you want to play with the braking, with the brake release, with the trail braking and so on. But if you played with those variables and still have a hard time hitting the right spot, try to go even more inside with the vision. So you will put your eyes, for example, here, instead of having them right now on the curb, on the verge of the grass and the curb, my eyes will be further ahead. So once again, you will do it in all the corners. We go in the next corner in front of us. We know that the curb is the one that we want to hit. And I'm going to say, let's try to take a little bit of grass as well. Let's try to take a little bit of grass. For example, here, let's try to mount completely the curb with touching the grass as well. You see, if you put these targets more towards the inside, the likelihood of you hitting the right point, I mean, not even that if it's too much to the inside, but hitting the right point will be much higher. And by the way, just looking at this recording, oh man, the delta bar and the font here in the old version of the UI was so much better. But anyways, this was part 1 with the first 5 tips for vision, because I don't want to make a very long video. The next one will be a continuation where we'll go into more subtle details, but this is the base ground. If you work on being quicker with your eye movements, if you're working on staying more locked on the target by also looking further ahead, if you're using this trick of looking even more closer towards the most inside part of the corner, more inside than the apex, so to speak, even if it's outside of the track to fix the understeer. And all in all, if you're focusing on the peripheral vision and making sure that you're even more efficient by using that, you're already doing a great job. And the next details, we're gonna build on top of it. But that's the video. Hope you like it, hope you enjoy it. If you want to support my work and also be part of a learning community in which you're improving week in, week out, check out the academy, check out my courses, and I'll be seeing you in the next one. Bye bye.